Once upon a time, in a land far away, there lived a king. But this wasn't just any king. This king was known far and wide as the Smelly King. Why? Because he absolutely, positively hated taking a bath. He hadn't washed his hair in months. His robes were crusted with old food, and his feet were the worst of all. They were so grimy that wherever he walked, he left a trail of dirty footprints. The palace floors were a mess, and a peculiar smell followed him everywhere. The queen pleaded, the royal advisors begged, but the king just folded his arms and shouted, "No baths, ever." The kingdom's people were getting tired of the constant dirt and smell. Finally, after a massive kingdom-wide meeting, they managed to convince the king to take just one bath. They filled a giant tub with warm, bubbly water and fragrant flower petals. Reluctantly, the king got in. He scrubbed and splashed, and, for the first time in years, he was clean. Everyone cheered. But there was one problem. In his rush to get out of the tub, the king completely forgot to wash his feet. So, as soon as he stepped out, his still dirty feet immediately made the clean palace floors filthy again. The problem wasn't solved at all. The king's subjects were determined they couldn't let their newly cleaned kingdom get dirty again. First, they decided to sweep the entire country. Thousands of people grabbed brooms and swept day and night. But this only created a new problem. Giant clouds of dust filled the air, making everyone cough and sneeze uncontrollably. "This won't work," they cried. So they tried another idea. They decided to wash the whole kingdom with water. They brought buckets and hoses and washed every road and path. But this led to a massive flood. The water washed away all the soil, and soon no plants, flowers, or crops could grow. The kingdom was clean, but now it was barren. Desperate, they tried one last thing. They covered the entire kingdom with a gigantic, beautiful tapestry. Every inch of the land was covered in soft, woven fabric. It looked magnificent. But soon they realized their mistake. With the ground covered, nothing could grow. The kingdom was facing a famine, and everyone was miserable. It seemed like every solution just created a bigger disaster. The people were about to give up. The king felt terrible. He didn't want his kingdom to suffer just because of his stinky feet. Was there no way to solve this problem? Just as all hope seemed lost, a wise old man with a kind face and clever eyes stepped forward from the crowd. He wasn't carrying a broom or a bucket of water. Instead, he held a large piece of soft leather and a sharp pair of scissors. The people watched, confused, as he approached the king. The old man knelt down and carefully placed the king's foot onto the leather. With his scissors, he skillfully cut the leather into a specific shape, following the outline of the king's foot. Then, he took out a needle and thread and began to stitch the pieces together. He worked quickly and precisely, his hands moving with an expertise that amazed everyone. In just a few minutes, he had created something nobody had ever seen before. He held up to strange-looking leather contraptions. He gently helped the king slip his feet into them. They fit perfectly. The king took a step, and then another. He walked across the beautiful tapestry. But this time, he left no dirty footprints behind. The leather coverings protected the ground from his grimy feet. The crowd erupted in cheers. The old man had invented the world's very first pair of shoes. From that day on, the king could walk anywhere he pleased without making a mess. The kingdom was saved, all thanks to a clever idea and a simple pair of shoes. And that is the story of how a smelly king's dirty feet led to one of the greatest inventions of all time. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to follow for more amazing stories.